The old 1969 Camaro sat silent inside the wealthy Morgan Estate's private garage, its once glorious red paint faded like a story waiting to be told. Ethan Cole, a humble 29-year-old mechanic from a small Texas town, stepped inside cautiously, unsure why he had been called to such wealth. Billionaire industrialist Richard Morgan stood beside the car, arms folded, eyes sharp. Next to him, his daughter, Claire Morgan, an heiress known for elegance, intelligence, and a calm grace, watched Ethan curiously. Rumors said the Camaro had belonged to her late mother, making it far more than just a car. Richard pointed at the Camaro with a cold smirk. "Fix my 1969 Camaro, and you may marry my daughter," he said. Claire's eyes widened in shock, cheeks turning red with embarrassment. Ethan froze, stunned by the bizarre proposal, unsure whether it was a test, a joke, or an insult wrapped in wealth. Claire immediately protested, telling her father he couldn't treat people like bargaining chips. But Richard insisted it was a challenge, not an order, a way to see if the mechanic had the skill, heart, and patience to touch the one thing he valued nearly as much as his daughter. Ethan felt the pressure settle on him. He stepped closer to the Camaro, placing a gentle hand on the hood, as if greeting an old friend. Beneath the dust, he sensed history, love, memories, and pain. Claire watched him quietly, noticing how softly he handled the car, almost as if he understood its emotional weight before even opening the engine compartment. When Ethan lifted the hood, the engine's state shocked him. The Camaro wasn't just broken, it was mistreated. Old wiring, rusted valves, clogged carburetor, cracked belts, and leaking gaskets. Whoever last worked on it had butchered a classic masterpiece. Fixing it meant hours, maybe days, of delicate, patient work. Richard stood behind him, arms crossed. No engineer, no luxury mechanic, no restoration expert has been able to bring it back, he said sharply. If you can, you're the kind of man I want near my daughter. Claire rolled her eyes in frustration, but she stayed, strangely invested in what Ethan would do next. Ethan didn't answer immediately. Instead, he studied the engine, noticing tiny details no one else had. A misaligned timing chain, a distributor cap installed incorrectly, vacuum lines routed wrong. He found clues in the car's wounds, like a doctor diagnosing a patient others had given up on. Hours passed as he worked with a calm focus that impressed even Claire. She brought him water, watched him, and slowly began admiring the way he treated every bolt with respect. His hands were rough, but his touch was gentle, something she hadn't expected from a stranger who stepped in wearing dusty boots. By evening, Ethan had repaired the wiring harness, cleaned the carburetor by hand, restored ignition timing, and replaced parts using his own tools. But one thing remained: the heart of the Camaro. The engine's first ignition after years of silence. Richard leaned forward, skeptical. Claire held her breath nervously. Ethan turned the key. The garage echoed with a cough, then a deep, nostalgic rumble. The Camaro roared to life, its voice strong, powerful, alive. Claire covered her mouth in awe. Richard's stern expression cracked, revealing something close to disbelief and maybe even respect for the young mechanic who succeeded where experts failed. The billionaire walked toward him slowly. "How did you do what million-dollar teams couldn't?" he asked. Ethan simply replied, "Machines speak, but only if you listen." Claire's eyes softened, touched by the sincerity in his voice. For the first time, she saw the man behind the mechanic, humble, intelligent, and grounded. Richard repeated his offer lightly. "So, fix my Camaro, marry my daughter." Claire looked horrified, but Ethan simply smiled politely. "Sir, I didn't fix your car for a reward, or your daughter. I fixed it because it deserved another chance. And she deserves someone who earns her heart, not someone handed to her." Claire exhaled in relief, impressed by his honesty. For the first time, her father was speechless. Ethan gathered his tools and turned to leave, but Claire stopped him gently, thanking him for bringing her mother's car back to life. Her eyes held gratitude, and something warmer Ethan hadn't expected. Over the next days, Claire visited Ethan's small workshop under the pretense of checking the Camaro's condition. One visit turned into another, and soon she looked forward to his quiet humor, his modesty, and the way he treated everyone with equal respect. Something rare in her world of luxury and power. One evening, Claire admitted softly, "You didn't fix the Camaro for a reward, but you fixed a part of my heart." Ethan smiled, brushing a speck of grease off his hand. "And you didn't need your father's offer. You're someone worth choosing freely." Somewhere in the garage, the Camaro gleamed proudly. Sometimes, destiny isn't written in wealth, proposals, or conditions. Sometimes it's in the gentle hands of a mechanic, the revived roar of a classic engine, and a connection two hearts discover when expectations fall away. And so, the heiress fell, not for the car he fixed, but for the man who fixed her world.